Bank Tiger Network from Learfield, live from Harpo's, the Missouri Bar and Grill. This is Tiger Talk with Robin Pingeton.
Pulls up from 3 and hits it. Holy cow, Abby Schreck.
Now, here's your host, Brad Trinago.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Tiger Talk with Mizzou Women's Hoops head coach Robin Pingeton. I'm Brad Trinago here with you. Jeremy Washington among the crew helping me out here at Harpo's in downtown Columbia. So happy to be back here as the home of Tiger Talk throughout basketball season. A big thank you to Harpo's Bar and Grill located in downtown Columbia, a staple of downtown Como since 1971, now featuring a new food menu. Check out the daily specials and the expanded space to host your next event. So we're coming to you, of course, on the Central Bank Tiger Network. We're also on the Free Varsity Network app, and we're available a lot of other places too, and we can kind of run through those now. You can also watch Tiger Talk live locally through the family of networks through KMIZ, and in the St. Louis area through the family of networks on KMOV. Additionally, you can watch and listen live on the Tiger Radio Network, Mizzou Athletics Facebook and YouTube channels, and all episodes of Tiger Talk. If you miss it live, you can also catch those episodes on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast. Mizzou women's basketball is now 9-3 on the season and in the middle of a 4-game winning streak. Most recently, Mizzou knocking off Northern Illinois by a 94-55 final. Up next, the Tigers will host Lipscomb on Sunday. That'll be a 3 o'clock tip-off, so a 2:45 broadcast start for you here on KTGR and the Free Varsity Network app. Oral Roberts will be the opponent a week from tonight, so we won't have a Tiger Talk for you for the rest of the calendar year, actually. We got that game coming up, and then, of course, Christmas and New Year's and the weeks after that. So our next Tiger Talk, by the way, will not be until January the 22nd. On the way tonight, you're going to hear from an assistant coach for this Mizzou women's basketball program, Jasmine James, and 3 forwards with the team, Hilke Feldrapa, Lucy Milkovich, and Hannah Linthicum. If you have questions for us as we move along here tonight, you can go to the Mizzou women's basketball Facebook page. Our man Toby Lau is standing by. If you've got some questions there, we'll relay those and keep the opportunities for you to be a part of the show going too as we continue here on the Central Bank Tiger Network. So like I mentioned, we'll have several players with us as we move along here during the program. We're going to hear from a Mizzou assistant coach coming up shortly as we remind you that Tiger Talk is brought to you by Shelter Insurance, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central region by J.D. Power. 6 out of the last 7 years, we're your shield, we're your shelter. Let's say hello now to Mizzou women's basketball assistant coach Jasmine James. And Coach, you must have been working them hard today, right? You just walked in and we had to throw you right on the mic.
Hey, you know, when you have those good practices, you lose track of time.
Absolutely. So you've got, this is a busy and important week in terms of development. You've got 8 days between games. It's also finals week. So what can you tell us in terms of what you're hearing academically for the players? How's that been going?
Oh, man, it's been going great. We're very fortunate. We have a great group. Finished out last year very good academically, one of the top schools in the country, top teams in the country. And so we have a really good group that's super focused on their academics. And so they've been feeling good about it for the most part. We got a bunch of different majors: architecture, speech pathology, business, journalism. So just some different ones in there. But it sounds like they feel good about it, and so we'll find out for sure here in the next couple of weeks.
I guess we will. Hey, Coach James kind of touched on this, didn't want to gloss over that, but Mizzou last year led all major women's college basketball programs, so all the Power Fours, led everybody in GPA. So a really impressive accomplishment from the team in the classroom and obviously hoping for some big things on the court as we move along this season as well. This opportunity, too, where you've got this big stretch between games, is that a chance to kind of reset certain aspects of what you've seen so far? Because you guys have been really busy, 11 games already this year.
Absolutely.
12 games, pardon me.
Yeah, I think that it's given us an opportunity to like even days like today, it feels a little bit like summer. And by that I mean practices were very, very intense time-wise. We probably went, pretty hard. And so having that 8-day span right now where we can just really attack and go back to the drawing board of different things that we want to clean up, fix, maybe add. And so it just gives us that time to not so much have to focus in this moment on who our opponent is right now versus what we need to fix within ourselves.
This is something I've talked about with Coach Pingeton, and want to kind of get your perspective on this too. But I've noticed in the opportunities I've had to watch your team practice in the preseason and during the year that you've pushed this group harder than you've pushed previous groups. What was it about the makeup of this roster that made you as a staff feel like, okay, yeah, we can challenge these folks a little more?
Right. It's just, it was a mindset shift. And then I also think that just the difference now in what we have athletically, we have decent size, but athletically we saw an opportunity for us to be able to play a more up-tempo style. That's always kind of been what we were trying to do. But now adding pieces that really give us the ability to be able to do that, and it's just like, okay, you have the ability to get up and defend 90 feet. You have the ability to play more off of the bounce. And so this group is just super driven. I mean, we went through what we went through last year in the SEC, but the reality of it was that group never steered away from the process. And so they know what it looks like, and so to add pieces and bring more people in, and it's just like, this is what our goals are for this year, it's giving us the opportunity to be able to push them, because this is what you said you want, so this is what we're going after. And so it's been a fun thing to watch. We're
talking with Mizzou assistant coach Jasmine James here on Tiger Talk from Harpo's in downtown Columbia. Like I mentioned, the most recent game was Saturday, 94-55 win over Northern Illinois. No one played more than 25 minutes in that game. How important was it to use your depth in a game like that so that you can perhaps be fresher with SEC play less than a month away now?
Just gives us an opportunity to continue to give people reps as well. You practice against each other day in and day out, and so to be able to go out against an opponent, and you may have people who don't usually get that 20 minutes or even that 10 to be able to get those game-like reps against opponents is always big. You never know what can happen, so just really love to be able to give them those opportunities to get game experience.
Only one team has been able to score more than 62 points on the Tigers this season to date. What are you seeing on the defensive end so far?
And it's been great. I think a huge focus for us going into the spring, honestly, was just like locking in on our defense, things that needed to change, ways that we could improve. And so just honestly a lot of time in the off season as well as in the preseason went into our defense. And so to see it translating has been great. I think our ability to just get up and defend full court. I think that just the toughness of wanting to get defensive stops versus where sometimes in the past it's kind of been like, well, we just want to outscore our opponent. Well, this year it's like, no, we want to get stops, and we have players right now who, when they get scored on, they take it personal. And so it's just seeing that just toughness on defense, that grittiness, and just really fighting and taking advantage of every possession that we get to really get stops.
Again, that's Mizzou assistant coach Jasmine James joining us here on Tiger Talk. We'll hear from a few of the players as we move along this hour on Tiger Talk. I did want to ask you a little bit about, on the offensive end, something that Coach P has talked about is trying to just get more improvement in terms of ball movement. I don't think she really liked how that looked, especially at the start of the year. What are you seeing in specifically that part of the offense in the last few games?
Yeah, I definitely think that it's gotten better. I think last game we had 16 assists, our 10 turnovers, and so just trying to get better with sharing the ball. I think it's easy in the offense right now to get caught up in dribbling a lot because it puts them in a bunch of situations that are one-on-one situations, but we're ultimately at our best when that ball is moving. I mean, just left practicing, it's the same thing that we're harping on and really trying to continue to get better at is just, hey, when you draw two defenders and there's some type of advantage, let's find what it is and let's just continue to attack out of that. And so I think the girls understand. I think they have to get more familiar with each other. We have a bunch of new faces, and so just getting that familiarity with our team as well as with the new offense is taking some time, but I think you can see that it's starting to trend and move in the right direction.
Yeah, that was something else that Coach Pingeton mentioned was the familiarity with each other with so many. It's technically, I guess, 6 newcomers, but it's really 9 because 3 of those folks that are returners barely played or didn't play at all last year. So a lot of new folks. Something else that she pointed out, I guess specifically to the NIU game, but something that could pop up down the road here in non-conference play was that certain players might hunt their mismatches. And yes, they might have a situation where they might have the physical superiority or feel like they can get their spot. But, I'm sure you ran into this a little bit too. You played at Georgia. You played at a really high level in terms of college basketball. Trying to hunt the mismatches at the right time can be challenging. Yeah?
Absolutely. I think picking your spots is going to be very important. I think ultimately for us, we want to be able to get that ball moving early, and then as we go throughout the flow, find those mismatches. That way we don't become stagnant. I think it's easy to sit and watch, and it's like, hey, this person has a mismatch, and now we're all watching this one person play one-on-one. And so I think very important that we try to get it moving early and then get into positions where as we work through the shot clock a little bit, boom, here's the mismatch, and let's take advantage of that.
Mizzou assistant coach Jasmine James joining us here on Tiger Talk. Still tinkering a little bit with the starting lineups, and that's something that Coach P said was going to happen even in the preseason through the first couple of months of play. What are you seeing from the different first fives that have been utilized so far?
I think you see something different from every group. I think when you go with, a smaller lineup, you see we have a different ability defensively from a standpoint if we could switch things more, we get up in the full court more, and it just changes the way that we're able to defend. But then you also see when we go with a bigger lineup, the way that we could take advantage of those mismatches on the offensive end also allows us to do some different things defensively. There's different lineups that we could also go with that give us more flexibility at the point guard spot, because now you have somebody who can play the 1, 2, and 3, and they all can kind of just shift. And so I think one of the coolest things has been the depth, because I can only imagine as a coach trying to scout us right now, the first thing you want to do is be able to tell your head coach, hey, this is who they're going to start. Well, you don't know. And so I think that that's actually been one of the great things. And honestly, it's been awesome for us to be able to have that depth where on any given night, it can be anyone's number, and just they can have the opportunity to go out there and take advantage of that.
I do want to run through some of the people who have been playing a lot individually. We'll do the most recent starting five first. Grace Slaughter, certainly beginning her sophomore year strong, top scorer for the team right now at more than 15 points per game. Had her second career double-double in the win against SMU about a week ago. Followed that up with 20 against NIU, even though she didn't score at all in the first quarter. How do you feel like Slaughter is progressing in year number 2?
I think she's been doing a great job. I think she's someone in the offseason who really took a step back and really just evaluated some areas where she felt like she needed to improve, and she stayed committed to the process and really worked hard in the offseason. I think the most impressive one out of all of those is when you talk about the double-double. I think the area of rebounding is an area where she has talked about wanting to improve in, and so being able to see her go out and do that has been awesome. So I think she's been great for us this year, and only expect her to continue to get better.
Your leading rebounder on the team right now is Lanaya Randall. She has 3 double-doubles already this season. She's a former SIU Saluki, but she's still a dog, right? Even though the mascot's not a dog anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, you cannot put size with her heart. I mean, she is going to come out and she's ready to fight no matter who it is. It could be someone 6'6" standing on the other side, and she's ready to go. She's an awesome competitor. Like I said, it does not matter who she's playing against. And so to be able to see her game translate from SIU to now being here at Mizzou, I mean, she's a big part of what we're trying to do. And so, not a dog there, but definitely a dog at heart, because she brings that to us every day.
Ashton Judd started a little slow, to be honest, her junior year relative to the standard we kind of come to expect her first couple seasons. But the last 4 games, she's averaging 16 points and 6 rebounds per game. The last 3 games, only averaging 1 turnover per game, too. So it seems like it's starting to come together for her in year 3.
Yeah, and I'll say for Judd, it's easy to look at the first couple of games and say that she started slow, but it's not easy when you go from, whatever she may have been on the scouting report last year to you walk away from last year, she would have been number 1 on our scouting report going into our first couple of games. So teams game planning for her, totally ready for her, and so now she's making that adjustment of understanding what that pressure looks like, where her shots are going to come from. At the end of the day, she's been great as well. Awesome work ethic. and just brings great leadership to us.
Something that Coach Pingeton, someone that Coach Pingeton singled out in the postgame press conference was Angie Galakalandi. She almost had a double-double as well, 9 points, 10 rebounds. How can she strike that balance, though, of maintaining that aggressiveness without fouling, because the offensive fouls have at times been a bit of a challenge?
Yeah, I think that just honestly locking in on the film, we've been watching a lot of film with her, as well as just trying to figure out what those things are that are getting her in foul trouble, which have ultimately been the offensive fouls. In the SEC, you could typically be a little more physical.
Sure.
So those calls tend to come a lot more in the non-con. And so just trying to get her to understand how to use that physicality in different ways, instead of using her arms and her hands as much, using her legs and her lower body more to try to get into her defenders. And just ultimately we need her on the floor. And so when she's in foul trouble, it makes it a little bit tougher for us. And, of course, that shortens up our depth at that 5 spot. And so trying to figure out ways for her to still be aggressive, still play her game, and definitely not get in foul trouble.
And one more I wanted to ask you about was Nia Wilson, and it really seems like, kind of like Judd, where she's really been coming on, especially on the defensive end. I mean, she didn't have this eye-popping stat line against Northern Illinois, but she might have been the MVP to me. She was just so disruptive, especially on the defensive side.
Right. Nia does a lot of things that don't technically show up on the stat sheet. She's walked away from a couple of games had, and she's like, I had 3 steals, and then you look at the stat sheet and it's like, no, actually you tipped the ball, someone else got it, you didn't get that steal. And so it's just like so many things that she does that would not technically show up on the stat sheet. Her ability to defend is next level. And then also just her ability to attack and play off of the bounce. And so I think that she's definitely coming along. She's settling into the system, and as well as just really getting a feel for everyone who she's playing with. And for her ability to play the one as well as to play off of the ball gives her a lot of flexibility. So she's coming along, and you can tell she's getting a lot more comfortable.
I appreciate the perspective on those folks, Coach. We're going to give you about a half-hour break, and then we'll have you come back on to wrap up the show, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
That's Mizzou assistant coach Jasmine James. Appreciate her joining us. Again, she'll swing back by as we look ahead to the next matchup coming up shortly. On the way next, we're going to hear from 2 Tigers who had the chance to represent their countries in the offseason. That'll be our next 2 segments as we continue Tiger Talk here shortly on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
The most powerful ideas come from understanding. By asking what's important here. At Great Southern Bank, we start by asking our customers to find out how we're doing and what they really need. Then we get to work, making banking easier and more effective, financing more flexible, and our communities better places to live. It's an ongoing team effort to keep improving how we serve our neighbors day after day. And it all starts with understanding what really matters. Learn more at GreatSouthernBank.com. Member FDIC.
It's time to get back into routine that focuses on you. Move better, feel better, simply live better at Wilson's Fitness. Escape reality in the indoor saltwater pool. Detox in the saunas or heat things up with our hot yoga. Wilson's is here to support you, motivate you, and help smash your goals with group fitness classes, personal coaching, and endless amenities. Move better, feel better, simply live better at Wilson's Fitness in Columbia. Visit them at wilsonsfitness.com.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why our agents work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Isn't it time to check Shelter out? Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Tigers fans, say aloha to Hawaiian Bros Island Grill, where the island-inspired flavors are positively delicious. You'll love favorites like huli huli chicken, marinated in their signature teriyaki sauce, or luau pig, featuring tender, slow-roasted kalua pork. Bounce by after the game just south of campus on Grindstone Parkway, or order at HawaiianBros.com. Hawaiian Bros is open late and ready to serve you with aloha spirit. Hawaiian Bros. It's a vibe.
Tiger fans, do you like to gamble? Well, gambling's exactly what you're doing if you have your home or business electrical installation done by a contractor who's not qualified, trained, and insured. Don't take the chance. Be safe. Be certain. Use only IBEW contractors to do your electrical work. The stakes are just too high for anything else. You can depend on your hometown IBEW and IBEW contractors.
And we're back here on Tiger Talk at Harpo's in downtown Columbia. We're going to get into some of our player conversations here as we move along here in the 6 o'clock hour. Again, Mizzou women's basketball in action against Lipscomb coming up on Sunday at 3 o'clock. Remember, you can show your swagger with a Tiger checking card from Central Bank, the only place for Tiger checking. Open it today at centralbank.net. And you can partner with the Tigers and the Food Bank, the official charitable partner of Mizzou Athletics. Visit scoreagainsthunger.org to learn more about the Score Against Hunger campaign presented by MPIX. Our first player guest tonight is a forward from Germany, Hilke Feldroppe. Thanks so much for joining us here for the next few minutes on Tiger Talk.
Hi, of course.
Glad to have you with us. Hilke has a 6'3" sophomore wing. And how are you done with finals? I mean, some people don't actually have finals some semesters, but are you finished with your exams?
Yeah, I'm finished with my exams. I didn't really have any because I'm an architecture major, so I have more like projects to work on. And I have a couple assignments to submit, but that's it.
And Haley Frank, who just graduated last year, she was an architecture major too, right?
Right, yeah.
Was she able to kind of give you the insight on the program and prepare you for it?
Yeah, for sure. She helped me a lot in my freshman year. And now that she's gone, well, she's in Germany right now, actually.
Isn't that funny?
That's kind of funny. I still send her some stuff from time to time, yeah.
Did you give her like kind of the lay of the land? I don't know, is she in the Berlin area? I'm not even sure where her team is. But
no, she's like 10 hours away from Berlin.
Okay.
It's still Germany. But actually last weekend she got to play against a team in Berlin and got to see my hometown.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Did you tell her some like choice German phrases like pass me the ball and things like that?
I think I gave her more like recommendations on food, not anything to say. Yeah.
That's the important stuff for sure. We're talking with Hilke Feldroppe, a Mizzou forward here on Tiger Talk. You had the chance to represent Germany in July. It's something you've done before. Most recently, it was the FIBA U20 Women's Eurobasket event in Lithuania. The Germans finished fourth. You were a key part of that, averaged 8 points and 4 rebounds per game. What's that like for you to be able to wear a German jersey?
It's always an honor to represent my home country, for sure, and I just always enjoy playing with the girls from home because most of the players I've known for many years now, so it's always not only a pleasure to play with them, but also an honor to represent Germany.
What about the style of play? Is it a lot different than what you play whenever you're over here?
Yeah, it's different for sure. We only have 24 seconds on the shot clock. So that's an adjustment. It's kind of, we play faster, and, well, we have to get up the shot quicker, right? Yeah, there's differences for sure.
Another difference internationally, and I believe you played with a pro team for a little while when you were in your younger days. So what's that experience like? Because I'm guessing there can be a pretty significant age gap on those teams.
For sure, yeah. I had players that were in their 30s on my team.
And how old were you?
I was, when I started, probably 16.
Yeah.
So that's a difference for sure. You see how many of these older players have much more experience than what I had back then, and you can learn from them for sure. And it's different from here where many players are just like the star on their high school team, and that's obviously you get to I don't know, build more confidence, I guess. But back at home, if you have players to look up to, you kind of learn more and can like benefit from their experience, I guess.
Sure. We're talking with sophomore Hilke Feldrape here on Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network. What have you been working on here at Mizzou to continue to develop your game on the court?
So I'm working with Coach Bricey mostly because he's my position coach.
Okay.
And we're doing a lot of like finishing around the rim, like through contact, because that's an area where I'm struggling with a little bit. But I feel like I'm getting better finishing through contact, and also my shot. Like during the off season, I was working with Coach Chris. Yeah.
What have you learned just going up against your teammates the last 2 seasons?
So I can tell you a difference from last season to this season. I feel like we're a much more competitive team this season. It's really a joy to play and to come to practice every day and compete. And yeah, that's something I really enjoy.
One of the games that really stood out from your freshman year, you scored a career high for now 11 points at Tennessee last season. And were you familiar with what Tennessee and that building and, Pat Summitt and all that? Coming from Germany, were you familiar with what that means to women's college basketball here in the States?
Yeah, I did know a little bit about the history, and it was definitely an honor to play there too. Or it was fun.
Well, you played really well in that game too. So was that pretty enjoyable too to have a standout performance?
For sure, yeah. It was. I mean, Tennessee is a great team, usually always are, right? So having a good game there was definitely something good for my confidence, and I'm just trying to stack more of those.
We're talking with sophomore Hilke Feldrape here on Tiger Talk. You and Lucy Milkovich, who we're going to hear from a little bit later on in the show, came in at the same time. You're both from Europe. Does it help to have someone on the team who at least has an idea of what you're going through with that experience and that big move over here to play?
For sure, yeah. I think from day one we've been like best friends here. No, that was great that we came in at the same time. We had the same struggles. And now that we have Tilly here, we have another international. We can like make fun of the Americans. No, I'm kidding. No, it helps for sure. Just knowing that there's other people that are getting homesick sometimes, and like we can support each other.
Do you come from a big sporting family?
Yeah. All of my brother, he's playing basketball in Connecticut at a university. And my dad, he used to be a professional swimmer back in his days. And my mom was also playing basketball when she was younger. So everyone has always been pretty athletic.
What steered you more towards basketball than as opposed to swimming or other sports?
I tried a lot of different sports, and I think I stuck with basketball just because I like the team component. And my mom was playing basketball when she was younger, so I wouldn't say she pushed me there, not at all. I was actually starting because one of my friends was at a basketball team, and I just wanted to come to practice one day. But knowing that she was a basketball player when she was younger, that definitely maybe shaped my decision.
You mentioned your brother is over here stateside, so you'll have an opportunity to see him coming up in a few weeks, right?
Right. I'm going to see him over Christmas, which is nice. We're meeting in Boston since he's playing at the University of St. Joseph's.
Yeah, very cool. Did you play Wordle today? I know you used to be a Wordle player, at least last year. How'd you do?
Yeah, I played Wordle. I think I got it in 3 today, but I forgot the word right now. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
we won't spoil the word, but I got it in 4, which is unfortunate. But so if you're not familiar, Wordle is this game you can play online, and you get 6 guesses at what a 5-letter word is. And if you get certain letters of it right, it'll kind of give you hints like, okay, this letter's in the right place, or this is the right letter, but it's in the wrong place. And so I lost to Hilke today, and Hilke's not. Is this your second language, or is it even like your third or fourth language, English?
It's my second language.
Second language. So, did you find that is that something that you picked up as something that could just to help you with the language, or is it just something you enjoy, or what was that?
The Wordle.
Yeah.
I think I started doing that because one of my old coaches, he kind of introduced that to our team, and we were always playing Wordle on trips, away games. So I did it a while back then, but I restarted, I guess, last season because Abby Fight was always doing it, and we kind of challenged each other. And sometimes I send her screenshots of, when I did a good job, and I'll be like, yeah, I got it in 2 today.
Again, to do that in the second language is wild, and I'm a little humbled that I lost today, and I speak English for a living, and I still can't beat Hilke. So I'll work on that. I'll get back to you later on whenever I get a good score. I'll make sure to let you know.
Gotcha, sounds good.
Okay, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Of course.
Hilke Feldrapa joining us here on Tiger Talk. Mizzou's tallest player ever joins us next on Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
August was born 3 pounds, 9.8 ounces. When I first saw him, it was a whole range of emotions. There's stuff I still want to do. Being a young dad, it's not giving up. It's shifting. I looked through his eyes. I can envision the whole future with him already. To throw the first football to him, give him ice cream for the first time. My life is now devoted to his life.
Through all of fatherhood's firsts, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Back on Tiger Talk at Harpo's in downtown Columbia. Brad Trinago here with you. We're going to hear from Mizzou forward Hannah Linthicum in just a little bit, and Tiger assistant Jasmine James will be rejoining us, too, on tonight's show. And a reminder again that this episode of Tiger Talk, along with other great content and episodes, are available on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast. It's presented by Shelter Insurance. Be sure to subscribe today wherever you listen to podcasts. You can hear from Matt Michaels and me weekly, and you can also catch that on the Mizzou Athletics Athletics Facebook page. We continue with our player segments, and we have with us now a sophomore from Croatia. Please say hello to Lucy Milkovic. And again, it's 6'6", tallest player in the history of the program. We haven't been able to see her a ton on the court this season as she's been working through some injuries. We'll ask Lucy about that here in a little bit. First, let's start in the classroom. Are you done for the semester in terms of your tests and stuff?
Yeah, I think I have maybe a few more assignments till end of this week, but I'm fine.
What's been the hardest class this semester?
Definitely my biology. I have lecture class and lab, so that's definitely the hardest.
I ducked biology in college pretty much the whole time, so I can understand that. So if I remember right, we talked last year. You said you were from a small town that's kind of by the sea in Croatia. So tell us a little bit about home.
Okay, so it's kind of like in Croatia, you have a lot of like small towns, and my town is really famous because everyone knows about Dražen Petrović, he is like famous basketball player. Yeah. So like my hometown is his hometown, and we're like really famous about basketball. So that's why I like started playing. We have a lot of like churches and cathedrals, if you want to see that, and like beaches are beautiful. So I can't wait to go back.
When you committed to Mizzou, you did realize we're not exactly very close to the ocean, right?
Yeah, I was really sad, but you got to do what you got to do.
I guess so. We did have the chance a couple weeks ago to go to the ocean, though, and down in Florida. So what was that experience like for you?
Well, it's really different from the beaches that we have back home, but it's beautiful.
How different? How is it different, I should say?
I would say it's like open ocean. We have like Adriatic Sea, and we have a lot of like little islands, so you can basically swim from the coast to the islands. If you want to, I wouldn't dare, but
Talking with Lucy Milkovic here on Tiger Talk. So your school before Mizzou, I'm not sure I'm probably not going to pronounce this right. So Šibenik Medical School. So is that like a high school? I mean, it says medical school, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's like school program in Europe is also different than here. Like when you finish 8 grades of like middle school, you can choose if you want to like specialize in medical field, architecture, whatever you want. So like the whole my life I knew that I'm gonna do something in medical field, so I wanted to go there. So I finished like 4 years for like to work in lab. So that's why I'm kind of like still figuring out what I want to do here, and that's why I have biology classes and everything.
So were you like you're not doing like open heart surgeries as a 15-year-old or anything?
No.
Got it. Okay, good to know on that. Speaking of injuries and trying to work through some different stuff, you've had a foot issue that's kept you out the last few games. So how is that foot coming along?
Well, it's getting better. I probably should be back soon.
Good deal. Glad to hear that. Is it challenging for you to stay in shape while also trying to get healthy?
It's really hard. Like I came back from my national team back here. I needed to get back from injury. Then when I started getting better, then I got injured again. So now again, going again with the conditioning stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned that. So Lucy was a part of like the camp for the Croatian U20 national team, kind of like Hilke was in playing for Germany. You were in that camp and then got close to game time, and then you had your injury and unfortunately were not able to play. But still, even though you weren't able to actually participate in games, what was that experience like to compete and practice with some of the best players from your country?
I mean, it's a pleasure. Like, it's a small country, and every time when I can represent it, I want to do my best. And I just look forward every summer to spend with, like, usually it's always the same players, maybe 2 or 3 are different, but we're really good friends, and I really enjoy every time when I'm there.
We're talking with Lucy Milkovic here on Tiger Talk. As I mentioned, the injury has limited your playing time, but you did really shine in the exhibition game against Truman. You scored 10 points, didn't miss a shot. What was that experience like for you to be able to be out there and to log a decent amount of minutes?
Well, I was surprised. I got 10 minutes. I didn't expect that, but I did my best, and I'm really happy for it. That kind of boosts my confidence from struggling from injury, coming back. So that was really good game for me to keep my mental health better and to prove everyone that I can do something.
Absolutely. Well, you certainly did show that in that game before. Do you come from a big sports family? I know you've got 2 siblings, right?
Yeah.
Everybody big into different sports?
Yeah, no, it's just me and my sister. We both play basketball, and my mom, my dad, anyone else, they didn't do anything.
Not at all. So that's interesting. But still, like you mentioned, Drazen Petrovic, legendary player from your neck of the woods. Was that? So I guess it wasn't like through your parents that he influenced you, because I believe he had passed before you were born. So was it just seeing and hearing old stories about him, or what was that?
So my uncle is the only person in my family that played. He also played basketball, and he played with him. And I kind of like, through my childhood, I was listening about his games and everything, and I was always the tallest everywhere. And I was like, let me just try. It's not just because of him. It's just like I wanted to see if it's it. And that's why I'm here now.
It's been it. So besides staying healthy, what's the main thing you're working on to get out there and contribute later on this season?
It's doing whatever I can do for my teammates. Being the great teammate is the biggest thing for me. And even if I'm not going to play, I'm going to do everything that I can do to help them. So that's basically all.
Well, certainly enjoyed having you around the times that I've been here, and enjoyed talking with you here tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That is Lucy Milkovic with us here on Tiger Talk. On the way next, we'll hear from another forward who's from a little bit closer than Croatia and Germany. She's from Jefferson City. Hannah Linthicum will join us next. Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
You could call it swagger. You could call it a vibe. You could call it confidence. You could call it cool. Or you could call it exactly as it is, Tiger Pride. Show your Mizzou spirit with the Tiger Checking Card, only from Central Bank. Sign up today at tigerchecking.com. Central Bank. Strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
It's time to get back into routine that focuses on you. Move better, feel better, simply live better at Wilson's Fitness. Escape reality in the indoor saltwater pool. Detox in the saunas or heat things up with our hot yoga. Wilson's is here to support you, motivate you, and help smash your goals with group fitness classes, personal coaching, and endless amenities. Move better, feel better, simply live better at Wilson's Fitness in Columbia. Visit them at wilsonsfitness.com.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Tigers fans, say aloha to Hawaiian Bros Island Grill, where the island-inspired flavors are positively delicious. You'll love favorites like huli huli chicken, marinated in their signature teriyaki sauce, or luau pig, featuring tender, slow-roasted kalua pork. Bounce by after the game just south of campus on Grindstone Parkway, or order at hawaiianbros.com. Hawaiian Bros is open late and ready to serve you with aloha spirit. Hawaiian Bros, it's a vibe.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tiger Talk continuing, talking about Mizzou women's hoops until 7 o'clock. Then we'll give way to the men's portion of the program. From the creators of Beatbox and Peachtree Catering, check out Belly Market and Rotisserie. Enjoy one of Belly's massive sandwiches with house-smoked meats, a delicious salad, or daily specials. The new dinner program offers seasonal plates, fresh seafood, and new bar offerings. Tell them the Tigers sent you and get a special treat. We continue with our player segments now, and let's say hello to another sophomore. Hannah Linthicum will be with us for the next few minutes on the program. A familiar name, obviously, to this program and to Mizzou athletics in general, the Jefferson City native. And if you listen closely during broadcast, the loudest yell you'll hear during games after good Mizzou plays is probably Hannah. She's the one that pipes out the most. Where does that joy and that energy come from, you think?
I think most of it just comes from I just really enjoy being there, and I just find such joy from the game. And I think just always growing up, I always found sports to be like so fun, and I think just that just kind of made me part of who I am as a player, just playing with a lot of energy. And I also just like want to pour into my teammates and build their confidence. And I think just because everyone loves when someone's cheering them on, so I think that's important.
Mentioned the Linthicum name is pretty well known in Mizzou athletics. Your dad, your grandpa, and your great-grandpa were all Mizzou football players, so you're a fourth-generation Tiger. Your sisters also were fourth-generation Tigers last season. But what's that mean to you to be able to kind of continue that legacy?
I think it's just really important to me. Like always growing up, we bled black and gold, and just always growing up loving Mizzou, hating KU, of course. And I think it's just super fun, like just throughout the family, like seeing just the love for Mizzou growing. And I think I'm just super proud that I got the opportunity to come here and continue the tradition, but I'm really grateful for that.
Again, your older sisters were on the team last year. Micah has since graduated from she's still in school, but she's, you know what I mean. And then Sarah is at Missouri State, and she's actually a starter there. So how are they doing?
Sarah's doing really well. I'm really happy for her. She's doing really good there, and it's just really good to like see her blossom there, and just grateful that she got that opportunity, even though I really miss her and Micah also. But yeah, Micah, she's working now, still has another year left in her master's, so she's done with basketball, but it's really good to see Sarah like still blossom through her experience, and I'm really happy for her.
And that was the first chance, because it's actually Micah had a red shirt in there, so that was actually a 5-year gap. So that was the first time all three of you had gotten a chance to be on the same team, right?
Yeah, it was really special, just all three of us, and sometimes chaotic, but it was really fun when we were all together.
Hannah Linthicum is with us here on Tiger Talk. In part because of injury, you wound up starting 19 games last season. You're jumping center against the Angel Reeses and the Camila Cardosos of the world. How did that experience as a freshman, you think, help you?
I think it definitely helped me. It was really scary at first, but I think I just tried to like keep the main point, or like the main thing, and just ultimately being grateful that I got that opportunity. And I think it really helped me grow. So I was kind of thrown into that situation, but I was just kind of forced to learn with it, and like what can I do to get better here and there. And I think I'm just really grateful for that, and just kind of helped to build my experience early on.
What are you working on now as a sophomore to continue to develop your game?
I think definitely just trying to be more physical on the defensive end. I think just seeing like what my first year, like what the SEC, like how physical it is. I think really important that you need to be the first one that hits them on defense. Like that's really important, especially down low as a post player, and just trying to get more offensive rebounds and be more of an offensive threat than I was last year.
Are you still doing cartwheels and handstands in practice? I understand that might have snuck in there every once in a while.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But Tilly actually does them all the time. She's perfecting her handstand.
For you personally, did your gymnastics career close once you hit like 5 feet tall or something? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think it was like 5th grade. Then I was being told that I was too tall. And because I was taking gymnastic classes at that point, like everyone else with me was like so much shorter. And then, yeah, at some point my parents were like, you're a little tall.
Well, we're happy to have you on the basketball team, and happy to have you with us here tonight. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Sophomore Hannah Linthicum joining us here on Tiger Talk. Coach James swings back by next to preview the matchup against a team from her home state. This is Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. No. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. No by visiting nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Back on Tiger Talk, Genteel is now the apparel provider of the Tiger Radio Network. Check out the new collection of Mizzou apparel, available now at genteelapparel.com or at Bingham's in downtown Columbia the next time you're in town for a game. Genteel Apparel is a proud partner of Mizzou Athletics. We appreciate their support. We also appreciate Socket Fiber sponsoring our assistant coaches interviews all season long. Socket Fiber, the fastest, most reliable internet around. And we continue with Mizzou assistant coach Jasmine James, a Memphis native and the head coach for Lipscomb, the opponent on Sunday. Lauren Sumsky, also a Memphis native, and you're pretty familiar with her already, right?
Yes, played together at the age of 11 and have been playing against each other since we were young, so very familiar with her. She went on to play at Tennessee, and of course I played at Georgia, so very familiar with her.
You got real familiar then.
Yeah.
Ooh, those were some that was back in the day when those games were really serious too.
Oh yeah.
So Lipscomb is a team that shoots a ton of threes. Whenever, just in general, you're going up against a team that's wanting to fire it up a lot from the outside, what are some general keys to try to hold the other team down?
I think ultimately when you look at those type of teams, you see that, they really like to shoot the three. So when you see shooters, ultimately you want to take them out of their comfort zone. And so we're going to stick to what we do defensively. I feel really confident in what we've been able to do. But at the end of the day, we're going to do our best to take them out of their comfort zone, make them have to put the ball on the floor and create some different type of plays.
We had a trio of sophomores on earlier, Hilke Feldrapa, Lucy Milkovich, and Hannah Wenthicum. When you think about those three young ladies, what stands out?
I think they're amazing teammates, but then they also bring great energy to our team. And then when you also look at the size of all of them, and to just think that they're sophomores, they all have very high ceilings. So it's just really looking forward to continue to see how that they grow, how they grew throughout their freshman year, and then how they continue to grow throughout their sophomore year now.
Yeah, it's a huge sophomore class because Abby Schreck and Grace Slaughter, also sophomores, big contributors. Schreck, by the way, 4th in the nation in terms of three-pointers made. And then you got Avery Kroenke, who's 5th in the nation in assist-to-turnover ratio. So when you have a group with so many sophomores like that, what's that like? Because, you had them as freshmen, but now the expectation, I'm guessing, is to contribute a little more.
I think the bright side of that, too, is that's also a group of sophomores that's been together. And in today's time, you don't really see that a lot. And so that group of sophomores just honestly coming in as freshmen, understanding what the culture is, understanding what we're looking for from a teammate standpoint as well as what we want on the floor. They've been able to be great for us. You see the production in ways that don't always show up in the stat sheet. I mean, Hannah Lithicum is on every highlight video after a game, and it's not so much as what she's doing on the floor as what she's doing off of the floor. And so it's just just for them to be together and go through the process, I think it's a great thing for our program.
That is assistant coach Jasmine James. Thanks so much for joining us. Our thanks as well to Hannah Lithicum, Lucy Milkovich, Hilke Feldrapa, and to Dylan Riggs back at the studio. I'm Brad Trinago. This is Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
Addison's restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations to choose from in Southwest and downtown Columbia. Addison's features a full bar with over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers, and of course their famous Nachos Bianco. So, before or after the game, stop by Addison's. View the full menu online for both locations at Addison's Grill.